With a 30-17 win on the road against the 49ers yesterday. Tom Brady threw 4 touchdown passes, and the Patriots are now 8-2. We're joined by former NFL GM Michael Lombardi, spent the last 2 seasons with the Patriots staff. Yeah. Welcome, Michael.
Good morning, everyone.
Are the Patriots clearly the best team in the AFC right now?
You know, I think the Patriots played their best game yesterday from a complete game standpoint.
Really?
I thought they did. I thought they played their best defense. They had 3 and outs, which is unheard of. Now, they still can't turn the ball over,
right,
but they got 3 and outs. It's 13-10 game, and they got a 3 and out, which the pressure was on them to do it. They rushed the passer more effectively. They actually covered. Not that the 49ers receivers are very good, but they actually covered well. And so without
49er team isn't very good.
Well, they're not very good either. You know, it's funny. The Giants beat the Bears, and everybody says, "Well, you don't sleep on the Giants." But the Patriots beat the 49ers. The 49ers no good. That's a long story. But anyway, I thought that they were. I thought they played a complete game without Gronk, and I think Dion Lewis back really is a difference in going to be what their offense is, because Dion looked yesterday a little almost to the point where I thought, yeah, that's Dion that I know. And I think if they have Dion back, they're a completely different team. So to me, it's the Patriots, and then this is going to shock everybody. Whoever wins the North is going to be the most competitive factor for the Patriots to beat, because I think those teams match up. Baltimore is a physical team that the Patriots can't push around, and Pittsburgh can match them point for point. So there are two matchups that I don't think that sit well for
Really?
England.
So no West, you're just going to the North.
The North is the one that I think that if you're in New England, that's the one that fears you. Baltimore is, I think Dallas didn't get enough credit for handling Baltimore yesterday in terms of how good Baltimore's defense is. I know that people think, well, look, they just moved the ball. No, that's a really good defense.
They are.
Mm-hmm. And they pushed them around. And when you can play against a team like that and you play that well, you're effective. So I think Baltimore is going to bounce back from it. They play Cincinnati this week without A.J. Green, without Giovanni Bernard. Cincinnati's going to mail it in.
And with Andy Dalton.
Well, Cincinnati is going to be the Cowboys of last year. They're going to be a good team with a lot of good players that are going to get a high pick, and they're going to benefit from it. Yeah. So there is some solace in all the misery that they're going through right now, but they are going to do that. But Pittsburgh, you know, not impressive. I think Brad Allen took over the game once again, but the official. But I think Pittsburgh can bounce back, and I think those two teams are going to fight it out. Neither of them one of them is going to go, and one of them is going to go home.
Right. Well, I do think they're the best team, but I don't think they're head and shoulders. The question is, and it looks like you're going to have to go through New England. The question is, can you get to 25 points? Because that's the cutoff. The Patriots will score 25 points at home. I believe that's the bare minimum. I see, and this is why I differ with you. I think the Broncos have the defense because they have the three DBs, and Talib should be back after the bye week, so he should play Sunday. I think they play Sunday night. I think they play Sunday night. They should get Wolf back. So now you can match them defensively. We know what Ware will get back. They've only been playing Ware about 15 to 20 snaps. They want to get that up to about 30, 35 snaps. So I think my question is for the Broncos, can you score 25 with Trevor Siemian? I believe you can hold New England to maybe 25 or less, but can you get to 25 or more? Because that's how you're going to have to beat them. I don't believe you can beat this team 17-14. Not in their building. Now, maybe on the road in Denver, crowd knows it's coming to effect. Maybe you can hold them down. The Raiders have the offensive firepower. This is why I agree. Raiders have the offensive firepower. Pittsburgh have the offensive firepower. Steelers defense, come on, coach. That defense, no chance. But the Raiders, with all those penalties, they average 10 penalties a game for 90 yards. You're not beating a Bill Belichick coach team on the road, committing 9 penalties for 90 yards. That's not going to happen. So for me, I believe the Broncos will provide the stiffest test because of their defense. But my only concern is, can Trevor Siemian get to 25 points?
Interesting. So back to the first point you made about the game yesterday. I'm surprised you thought that was a complete game, because I just had to throw that one out because of the 49ers.
Yeah.
And what shocked me was, it was like Brady was toying with the game itself, because he goes home to the Bay Area. Julian Edelman goes home to the Bay Area where they're from. And it was like an NBA All-Star game where the hometown star, you get together in the locker room and say, let's make him the MVP tonight. Let's make sure he gets the touches. He threw 17 balls to Edelman yesterday, and it felt like, I'm going to make us the dynamic duo as we go home. It's our turn to have this stage to ourselves. And Tom threw, I don't know, maybe you can explain this. a lot of just lob passes. Just for a while, I thought, is his arm hurting? But then he threw that late strike to Malcolm Mitchell that was just a fastball. But just a lot of high lobs, like the equivalent of the old baseball ephus pitches, where he was just lobbing them down the field. And it felt like they were just toying with the 49ers. But I agree, the defense played better than I thought it would because they held Kaepernick and company to under 300 yards, 299, but that's pretty good.
Right. I mean, this is the same team that Dallas got behind 14-0
Yeah.
at home. I mean, so they have moved the ball effectively on people, and that's where my point was. I do think that they miss Gronk. I mean, no question they miss Gronk. So Edelman's going to get more looks. But I think Malcolm Mitchell grew up yesterday, and they need that. And then if Hogan's back gets better and they have Malcolm Mitchell, they become more potent offensively. And then Gronk being in there with Dion is a tough matchup. So
hey, I agree with Dion Lewis. He looked electric yesterday in small doses because that's all he got.
Right, and the fields, and it wasn't, look, I think the conditions, the New England Patriots lead the league in fumbles. Now, they don't lead the league in giving up fumbles. They lead the league in putting the ball on the carpet, which is remarkable. And there's so much time being spent on water balls. I mean, from the first day at OTAs, Bill's watering the balls down. He can't wait to water the balls down. And yesterday was a perfect example of all that. Right. Yeah. And there were no balls on the ground. It was a remarkable game in the sense there were no turnovers. True. I mean, the 49ers had 5 balls on the ground. They didn't lose any of them. But that was remarkable, and I think that's one of the areas they need to improve on is protecting the football, which they did. I think what you're talking about, that game plan was about not losing the game. That game plan offensively was, look, we can't lose this game, but if we need to gear it up, we'll gear it up. And if they score points and we're not playing good defense, we're going to have to gear it up. And I thought yesterday they didn't have to. And I thought they played the complementary football that they need to play. And that's why I was kind of somewhat impressed. Now, I understand it's the 49ers, but the 49ers have moved the ball. They moved the ball in a lot of teams. They just haven't been able to put it in the end zone.
So you have said this from day one on this show, that you still are not convinced about the Patriots' defense. And then I checked this morning. They are now 27th in takeaways. So the defense does not take the ball away from you. 27th in the NFL. Can the offense get so explosive with Gronk coming back, maybe Dion Lewis?
I think that's my concern. That's my hesitation when I get asked the question, are they the best team? They don't turn the ball over. The offense never plays on a short field. I mean, they don't get a short field at all. And so their field goal kicker, Steven, has missed another extra point yesterday, along with the other guys, Gostkowski. There's another concern for you. So you have areas that you look at this team and say, they're vulnerable. They are vulnerable. They're not, and I think Denver can't match them point for point, but in Denver, they're a better team. Kansas City, look, losing at home to Tampa, it's a stub, but Kansas City is kind of a unique team. They don't play enough diversity on defense to give New England trouble. They play one coverage, they play one match. It's really easy for New England to dissect what they're doing, and I don't think
which they did in the playoff
which game. They did in the playoff game, and then, the game gets, Kansas City can't match you point for point.
And the thing is, because when your defense don't create extra possession for your offense, now that just adds pressure to Brady because he knows now I got to score because they're not going to give me extra possessions. No. So they're not going to give me a short field. So now the onus really picks up on that offense because they know we're not getting extra possessions. We're not getting a short field. But the key for them, as long as Gronk, listen, and this is not to minimize Tom Brady, but Gronk makes that offense go. When he's in the ball, because you see 17 targets, throw Gronk 17 targets, he's going to have 200 yards.
Yeah. I do. I think when you
and
play
3 touchdowns.
When you play this forward, though, which is an interesting conversation, when you play this forward and you say, okay, who's the 6th seed? Is it going to be Denver? Who's the 3rd seed? Is it Houston? And then that 4th seed, you probably is going to either be Pittsburgh or Baltimore.
Right.
Okay. So I'm with you.
Okay.
So the more dangerous playoff game. Let's say the Patriots maybe they lose at Denver, but they go 13-3. Let's say they're 13-3 and they got home field throughout the playoffs. The first round game could be Baltimore at New England.
That's
and
right.
that would be the tougher of the two.
That's my point.
Right?
That's my point.
Because we know Baltimore has a
and
history.
And then whoever always wins those wild cards, there's a sense of momentum that comes out of that game. And then, look, New England's lost twice at home already, so I don't want to hear this that, it's possible to win there. Yeah. And they've lost twice there. So that's when you play it out like that. That's why it makes me worry about New England as a coach.
And Baltimore has beaten them twice at home with another 2 opportunities. I mean, Lee Evans dropped a touchdown that would have given them.
And then they got to go up there in a couple weeks. So I think but Baltimore's no lock to get in here.
No.
See, that's the other problem. They're going to beat up on each other.
Yes.
And then Denver's going to sit back like a great jockey and just wait for the moment to when they're going to go to the race and when they're going to take over the race. So that's how the AFC is fascinating in the sense that we know we're probably going to get 3 teams from from the West and how they're seated. All due respect to your Miami Dolphins, if they could actually, I just don't see how they can do it. Because there's really not a wild card for them to take over.
Only you can make me doubt the Patriots.
So
it's an amazing gift job.
Last quick point. So the Raiders obviously play tonight. I think they're going to win tonight. That would put them at 8-2. I still say the Raiders are the Cowboys of the AFC. They remind me of the Cowboys, and I think they're going to build momentum. And I won't be surprised if they're the 2 seed when all is said and done, because I still think they can win or steal this division from the Broncos and Trevor Siemian.
I think that loss yesterday Kansas City had, I think they,
and that's another one.
But I think this, Skip, I think if Oakland takes the attitude tonight that they took when they played Denver at home, if they play that way, they are really going to be the 2 seed. That's how they have to play. Cut down their penalties, control the clock, run the ball, keep their bad defense off the field. You know what's remarkable about the NFL is there's just units now. The Cowboys' defense is somewhat concerning.
Yes.
The Patriots' defense is somewhat. There's no team that has it completely balanced. Even Seattle, as good as Seattle is,
they can't run the ball.
They can't run the ball, and now they lose their running back. Their offensive line's back is not very good. There's really no complete team. So it's all so everything becomes a matchup now. It's all who are you playing on any given day. That's why you can't just say this is a lock.
And who takes advantage of the other team's weakness the most.
Right.
Yep.
That's why
what I thought what Jay Gruden did last night was really good, because he was not going to let a bad defense come back on the field on 4th down.
Well, how could you not go ahead and go for it? I mean,
you have to. Right.
Yeah.
Right. But most coaches say you got to play the percentages.
Dom Capers still employed.
Still employed?
Yeah,
I don't know. Look, Dom, that defense, there's guys running around there. You know, when they were talking about getting balanced last night on offense, I'm thinking to myself, forget about balance. They have nobody in that secondary that can cover it. Throw it 70 times. Nobody can cover. Why would you want to be balanced? Who cares about balance at that point?
Skip, why would we think that Dom Capers would lose his job after giving up 42 points when he gave up 47 the week before?
Well, I mean, look, at some point, somebody's going to have we're going to have it. It's not Aaron Rodgers' fault, by the way.
No, it's never Aaron Rodgers' fault. We got to leave it there. Coming up, Michael gives us his biggest takeaway from the Cowboys' big win over the Ravens. More Undisputed after the break.